Hello, it's Jennifer. Today is Monday, May 28th, and I figured I'd go ahead and do my May garden tour. So this tour will start off in the front yard. Over here I have a bunch of tomatoes, and these tomatoes were tomatoes that were in the backyard, but they weren't doing so well, so I decided to give them a second chance in the front yard in these wine barrels. So originally strawberries were grown in these wine barrels, but the strawberries made it to the ground, like over here. So now I'm letting them take over the ground here, like in the backyard, to make a strawberry carpet. So I went ahead and put in these tomatoes. These tomatoes over here are, I believe, the sun sugar tomato. And this plant is doing a lot better here than it was in the backyard. It's got several fruits on it down here. I don't know if you can see them. And lots of flowers. And then I forgot to label these over here, but one of them is the Cherokee Carbon, and the other one, well, I did label this one. So this one's the Cherokee Carbon, which is this little plant here, which looks like it still hasn't really grown. So I put it over here because it was a miniaturized plant, and it looks like it has stayed miniaturized. And this is one of the reasons I've decided to never buy funky looking plants from big box stores again. So if it looks weird, don't buy it. And then the tomato over here, I'm not sure what this is, but it's very healthy. I don't see any fruit. But there's vines everywhere. It's healthy, and I guess in a few weeks I'll find out what this is. And then over here are one of the Wagner Blue Green tomatoes. There's some strawberries still in here. Let's see those little guys. And it looks like it's got some powdery mildew, but I've decided just to leave these alone and let them do what they're going to do. And then this one up here is a Black Beauty. So the Wagner Blue Green over here, and then Black Beauty. And then this is the white cherry tomato that's not doing so well, but I think I'll go ahead and stake it. And then these two here for some more miniaturized tomatoes, the Costroli. So I'll just go ahead and buy seeds for this. And the purple Kabalash, I'll go ahead and buy seeds for this. And it looks like they're just staying miniaturized. So these have been in this barrel for at least 2 or 3 weeks. And then up front still have the variegated sage from last year. And it's grown up quite big. It was a very small plant last year. Over here is, I'm not sure what this is, but it's some sort of spice. Let me see if I can get an idea of what this is. Oh, it's oregano. Very strong oregano. And then over here are the strawberries from last year. This is a big dill. And this is a regular Colorado sage. And over there is some more oregano. And these two are the marshmallow plants. They reseeded from last year, and these plants look so much healthier than the ones last year. So these are volunteers. And then up here are tag hazel, and hopefully those will get bigger soon. They've been struggling. Some animal or person kept digging them up, and then I had to replant them. It was like this 2-week cycle of coming out in the morning and replanting them after whatever digs them up. And then over here is the Mexican oregano. So this is a bigger leaf oregano than the Italian oregano. It's very strong too. And this also reseeded from last year's, and it looks like I need to prune it so it's not so tall. And then over in the side yard, in the shady part of the garden, is the Naranjila plant, which likes the shade. There's also some lettuce leaf basil, parsley, and I think that's here are gone. No, maybe not. Did I label it? Marjoram. That's what that is. And then here's one of my raspberry plants. And this is my other raspberry plant. This poor plant's been suffering because the drip irrigation I set up for it overwatered it 3 times. So a lot of the plant died. And now it's just a matter of letting it dry out, reestablish its roots, and grow again. And then under this tent is a cauliflower plant and a broccoli plant. And then there are also some volunteer tomatoes in here. There's also a few other baby broccoli and cauliflower plants I planted. So hopefully those will all come up in succession. The tomato plant, I'm not sure what this is, but I'll just let it be. It's not harming anything. And the last time I moved one of the tomato plants from in here, it died, so perhaps it's just best to leave it alone. That are 2 eggplants. So I think this one here is the apple green, and this one here is the Japanese white egg. Looks like they're flowering, and there are some small fruits in there. Same thing here. They haven't escaped the little caps though yet, but there's fruits in here, and the little flowers. They're very pretty. There's no flowers here, but from this particular plant, last week when these were flowers, they were actually white and purple striped. It was really pretty. It looked like saltwater taffy. This is my habanada plant. I'm a little frustrated with this because it's a huge plant, but it just started budding, so I'm not sure what to think of this. And the buds are really small, so I don't know if this plant is normal or not, or whether I should prune it and try to get some buds closer to the bottom of the plant, or what. So if anybody has some advice for me, please leave in the comments. Below it are some onions. And then on this side of the yard are some in-ground tomato plants. They aren't labeled, so I don't know what they are. But this guy looks really nice. These guys over here, these are San Marzanos, and they're trying to die. If you're wondering what's on the ground, those are coffee filters, so they just throw coffee on the garden. And this one back here is a black cherry. And I think this one is a green vernissage. And then over here is a brandywine. And this one's unlabeled, so I don't know what that is. And we've got the tomato boxes, so all of these tomatoes are basically on the verge of their first ripening tomatoes. Something to note, that my experiment with growing peas or up a tomato plant didn't work out very well. It turns out that they get powdery mildew, and then the 2 plants feed off of each other, and then the pea vine just dies, and it's all wrapped up in here. So I won't be doing that again. But the tomatoes themselves are doing just fine. This is one of the kind of cherry tomatoes. It's only supposed to grow about 4 feet tall. So I put it on the end here, and I've been supporting it with twine as it grows up. And then I think this one, although it's labeled San Marzano, is actually a purple Cherokee. And I just had one white fruit today, and I pulled that already. But it's full of nice looking tomatoes. And if you're wondering what's in the bed, again, more coffee filters, but I've also just been throwing vegetable scraps in here instead of putting them in the compost heap. It seems a more direct approach and is working well so far. And at the end here are our grape plants. And so far we only have these little grapes here. Hopefully there'll be some more. And then the San Marzanos behind that. And the black prints, they're doing well. Here's the corn patch. So far this is doing well. I am now on a feeding schedule of once a week with the fish emulsion. And I come out and I water the corn plants every day. And they're doing really well, nice and green, nice and healthy. I'm very pleased. This is the Juliet, it's struggling. Although, my Juliet plants are really weird. The tomatoes are quite a bit bigger and a different shape than Juliet's supposed to be. They're supposed to be oval grape tomatoes, but these look somewhere between oval and Roma. This is my Odessa squash. It's gotten very big. Looks like there's a squash down here that's moving. Oh, another big one over here. Wow. I guess I should come check this more often before I end up with like some huge squash and don't know it. And then there's a tomatillo behind there, the onion bed. So it's got a variety of onions and leeks in here. I just basically, after I cook, if I have like an onion butt, I just come and bury it out here and let the onions grow up and have more onions. So you can see that. It seems to be a nice supply of onions for us, both green onions. I think we ate all the leeks out of here, so there's no leeks in here now. Or maybe that one back there, the leek with the skate coming up. And then over here, the lemon boys are ripening. So this first one here, I'll probably pick it Wednesday. Hopefully the birds won't eat it. I should probably put a sock on it. But these are coming along. And these are the Polish Louisa, and they're coming along too. And then down here are some green beans, and they're lining up the tomato cages. So these are the Landreth stringless beans. And they're lining up the tomato cages and then up the bamboo stalk. So I'm glad they're not hugging onto the tomato. But that seems to be working out so far. We'll see if it holds. And the dark romaine lettuce came back, so probably pulling some of that off again and letting it grow back. And then these are my paste tomatoes. This is supposed to be Anna's Russian, but they're taking on a different form than heart-shaped and smooth. So no, this is not the Castelluto Genovese. I didn't have those seeds when this plant was planted, so I'm not sure what's going on here, but all the tomatoes on this plant look that way. And over here's another Anna's Russian, and these are taking on more of the heart-shaped form. And then these guys down here are the determinate bush-shaped tomatoes, and then some more of the sauce tomatoes here. And over here are the less sweet Japanese, and these are growing up nice and big, really, really big. And look at this down here. This is huge. Wow. So I'm in this big boy here. I'm really amazed at how well they're growing this year. And this is the papaya deal. And it's small. I keep giving it fertilizer, some fish emulsion, and Epsom salts, but it's just staying pretty modest so far. Hopefully I can get something out of this. I don't know. The first time I grew it last year, I only got one fruit out of it. It was delicious. It tastes like cantaloupe without the cantaloupe funk. So maybe I'll start another plant. I don't know, but it's trying. And then the eggplants over here. So I think that this is a black beauty. This is the little Casper, the Japanese white egg. This one has white flowers, not purple. And then back there is one of those apple green. And then the patio princess tomatoes here. They're looking really good, and got a lot of tomatoes this year, and they're bigger than the tomatoes that came off of the plant last year, so I'm hopeful. And this is the patio baby eggplant, and some of these are ready to harvest, so they're ready to harvest when they're 2 or 3 inches long. And then around it is some oregano and chives. And this is some of the pineapple sage. It grew into a big hedge, and I just pruned it yesterday. And then onions. And these are my mini melon plants. There's 3 varieties. They're going well. No melons yet, but oh well. They'll come. And then this is a giant dill. This is a volunteer dill. And my pixie cabbage, so the beginnings of a head there. And then some more green beans. And then these are broccoli. I'm not sure whether these are actually going to produce broccoli heads. The plants themselves are getting too big, and in the past I've seen that when they get this big, either they don't produce a head or they produce a very small head. So, whole lot of leaves, not much to eat. And then over here are some new seedlings. So, bittergesh, heat tolerant cauliflower, more of the pixie cabbage. There's a romaine lettuce over here. So that guy right there is romaine. And some spinach. And then over here is another black beauty eggplant. And these are some peppers, so the lemon ahi. And the ringleader hybrid, which is a hybrid jalapeno. Lunchbox, another ringleader, and another lunchbox pepper here. And these are some second round tomatoes over here. So these are my own seeds from the Juliet, which I labeled round Juliet. So this is the 3rd generation. We'll see what comes of that. So far the Juliet hybrids haven't been stable, but what I have gotten off of them have been far superior than the intended Juliet hybrid. And then back here is a tangerine, and then some tomatoes here. So that's the yellow gooseberry back there. Dr. Lyle's here. The old-fashioned red, which is doing well. And then the golden remotaros, which have started to fruit. Again, the old-fashioned red. This is looking really good. I'm being really careful with the watering now, because I don't want these tomatoes to crack, because they look just so beautiful and purple. So, not purple, beautiful and perfect. Sorry. Hopefully soon this one will ripen and I can get it off the vine so I don't ruin it. This is a little volunteer. I don't know what it is, but it's potato leaf. So it's either like a Japanese trefoil or a brandywine tomato, because that's what I grew last year. That was potato leafed. And there's an airplane above. It says, it's like a wine advertisement. Interesting. Alright. Back to the Odessa skull. And then over here are my citrus trees. So this guy just came alive about a month ago. It was this sad little stick, and I thought, oh, it's dead. But it's not. I put some fertilizer around it and watered it, and now it's come back alive. So hopefully it'll grow. I'm hopeful. I'm really hopeful. This is one of my banana plants. And the German Queen tomato. I'm not sure this is going to grow into a full-size tomato. It might be one of these stunted ones again. And then my pink lemonade plant. And in this cage is my blueberry plant. So we had to put the cage around here to protect it from the birds, but there's I can't get a focus on them, but there's blueberries all over in here. So maybe if I can do that. No, not gonna focus. But there's blueberries. Now you can see them. And then over here are my onions. And I think these are sweet Spanish onions, but either way, they're short day onions. And these are planted in October. I expected them to be done by now, but they're still growing. And then got a little pepper in there. And then this is my Mexican lime tree. And it's been doing well. It produced its first round of limes a couple months ago, so there's a second round on the way. And then my tomato boxes here, which have the black creme, the white Thomasol, which is a huge one here. I'm just overwhelmed by the size of this one. Hopefully the birds will leave it alone. I'll probably put a sock on it once it starts turning red. But just mammoth tomato here. And then a whole bunch of these plum tomatoes. So these are dark plum, and these little guys taste like ketchup. They're excellent just eating on their own, but also they make really, really good sauce. And this striped tomato, which I've been having problems with powdery mildew, but good sized tomatoes off of it, and the green zebra. And then here's the back side of that other black creme, and here again another huge tomato, although this one looks like it was a multiple bloom that turned into one tomato. So anyhow, that should be interesting when we cut it. And then this is the struggling tomato box. So we have the Dr. Lyle's here. It looks like I'm going to get one off of it. And it's not going to be like the prettiest tomato ever. And then the Cordoba, which has quite a few on it, but the plant itself is kind of skinny. But pretty looking tomatoes. So hopefully I'll be able to save some seeds. And then the enchilada tomatoes here. And the, what is this called? It's basically a striped paste tomato. These get really big, they're really tasty too, and they're beautiful. So I'm just waiting for these tomatoes here to ripen so I can go ahead and put another plant in. It's just suffering. Although the top is looking much better, so we'll see. And then the Italian ice over here, which is also suffering. And the Black Beauty. And the, what is this called? Oh yes, the Dark Galaxy. And my black cherry. So this is a black cherry plant that is from my own seeds from last year. And then a Brazilian starfish over here. And another bush steak. And the other Wagner's blue green. And then in here is a new tomato plant, and I don't know what it is. It looks like I didn't label it, but it's a potato leaf plant. It's a new plant to me, so it's not one of the brandywines or the black trefoil. And then back here are some cucumbers. And then what's left of the snow peas. And then over here, basically, these are just parsley and onions that self-seeded or whatever. I don't know. There was one of them that was like a bunch of clumping little yellow onions, and they were delicious. I put them in soup. They look like that one. And then my rosemary. And another German queen here. And then I had to take the tents off of these because they got too big for the bug and shade tents. So I put up a workaround for now. And so these plants are doing fine. Some nice big bell pepper plants. And then the celery fir, tomatoes all over it. Creole onions back there, Atlas tomato, and another Brazilian starfish. And the fish peppers doing pretty well. Looking good so far. I'm still hoping that I'll get some fish peppers off of it. And then finally, over here my scallop squash. And I think this is zucchini. These have been doing okay. I've been getting a lot of scallop squash lately. And I got a couple zucchinis off this week. And then the tomatoes back here, which are doing just fine. And that's all for the May garden tour. Yeah. Just waiting for these tomatoes to ripen up so we can have some salads and BLTs and sauce and whatnot. So, until next time.